everyone. I'm Jess Torres, the SVP of Growth and Operations here at OfficeSpace, and I get to lead our strategy, biz ops, revenue operations, enablement, and InfoSec teams. And I have the pleasure of working really closely with Eku, our Director of Business Operations, and Max, our IT administrator, who are joining me today. And they have been running all things IT and managing all things OfficeSpace Assets as we roll this out. So over the past few months, they've been really hands-on with the product, testing it internally, gathering client feedback with our product team, and helping shape it into the purpose-built platform for IT teams. So it's now live and out in the market and really been designed to streamline operations, reduce costs, track every asset that you have in your business, their life cycles, and keep your workplaces secure. So I'm really excited to get the chance to speak with Eku and Max more and have them share their experiences with using the product and their early impressions. So to kick it off, what's something that people might not realize about the work each of you do behind the scenes when it comes to asset-related processes? Eku?
Yeah, so I think this is one of the things that really came up and has been something that's been an adventure, is that we have data in a whole bunch of different places. We have data in our spreadsheets, in an email thread, in our human memory. And so what ended up happening is that if a laptop was lost, we were scrambling to find content and context. And sometimes that's been very challenging. So what that ended up doing was making us reactive. And as everybody knows, when you're reacting, that costs time, money, trust, etc. So really just being able to consolidate data has been an interesting adventure, but has definitely been something that has been a huge win for us.
Absolutely. And a huge theme for our team over the past couple of months, and just how can we shift from reactive to proactive in all things. So the more tools, particularly tools that our company can build, the better.
Absolutely.
So you've now had some early hands-on time with the platform. What were your initial impressions? Any features or interactions with the product that stood out immediately?
Yeah, quite honestly, it was surprising, but in a really good way, about how easy it is to use. And that was something that when I'm thinking about asset management, I want to make sure that it's easy to use, something that is intuitive. What happens with our OfficeSpace Assets is you log in, you search an asset, and everything's there. Who it belongs to, where it is. We're going to be able to plan out that maintenance history all at one glance. The assignments and filters just work. There's no training needing. There's no steep learning curve. But I think most importantly, and this was something that has really resonated with me, is that it felt like it was built by people who lived through the pain. And that is something that's really important, I think, in the sense that our product team has worked really, really hard with our early access partners, so including our team, to build OfficeSpace Assets with what we need in mind. This is a unique benefit to me, because there's a lot of vendors out there that focus on what they think the clients will want. Our product team took an opposite approach, which was, we're going to build what people actually need. And that is reflected in everything throughout the product, that they are prioritizing what's important to the people who are actually in the field. And that is something that is going to carry over with our roadmap going forward. But that has been a really pleasant surprise to say, hey, like, this is a product that felt like it was designed for me, as opposed to a product that was designed with the idea of what someone like me would want.
Right. So that intuitiveness, and not just built for you, but built with you and with end users like you and Max, who are just informing the roadmap and making it as useful as possible.
100%.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So now that you're using OfficeSpace Assets, how has it changed your ability, or how's it starting to change your ability to plan and run operations more effectively?
Yeah, it's starting as a key word. We're just starting to explore what this is going to look like. And so before OfficeSpace Assets, asset data lived in 3 to 4 different places. So if you wanted a full picture, we would be piecing it together manually, lots of stitching, and with our human interaction. Now we've got a single source of truth. So what assets we own, where they are, who's responsible for them, and what condition they're in. And so I don't need to check 5 different folders or ask 3 different people to find out if something's been assigned, returned, or still in service. I can see it right at a glance. That structure is going to give us clarity across the organization, especially as we start to think about headcount changes, how we if there's any relocations, as we're exploring procurement reviews, those kind of things. Is really going to give us some flexibility with that. I feel much more confident with my planning. At the end of the day, whether it's allocating budget, prepping for a move, or evaluating vendor contracts, I'm not guessing. anymore. I have clear data that can back up what is, what I feel is the case, but more importantly, I can now prove it. And this has been really, really important for us as we look at handoffs between the departments. And I think I think something that gets missed at times is cross-functional departments, especially in internal organizations like facilities, IT, and finance. We need to work together on a lot of this information. And so now we have that source of truth. And I think that's something that is really important sometimes, is that those other departments don't always have access to the same information. And so sometimes they operate in a silo. And so to have that all in one place, this is our source of truth. It's a huge win for us. And so I'm really excited to see how we're going to be able to plan together cross-functionally to be more effective or across the entire organization.
Yeah. So you've got this and are building on this centralized source of truth that gives you increased confidence in your planning, which also gives me increased confidence, but also means fewer surprises, which finance loves, I love. I think for everyone, the more that you've got that shared visibility and you're not guessing at the truth, but you can really say, hey, we all agree on this and we can all go to the same place to confirm that this is, the centralized source of truth. So that's fantastic.
One piece I just want to add to that I think is really important on that. It's also giving us data to be able to automate things down the road. So where every company is in this AI, mindset and automation and trying to simplify and make things more efficient. And the other piece that I think the data is going to do is that actually gives us the backbone to run automation on that. So when we are working off of random spreadsheets, it's a lot harder to get that data into the right places. Because we have a single source of truth, we are going to be able to build a world where we can use that data to inform our decisions, but not only inform our decisions, but inform our processes that may be automated down the road. So just wanted to call that out because I think it's going to be really important in terms of how we can use that data.
Absolutely. The future automation and AI applications, just by building out this centralized source of truth, it opens up a new world of possibilities.
Yeah, absolutely.
So just to make it even more tactical, can you give me one or two real examples of how you're either using or going to use the tool going forward?
Yeah, for sure. So, I mean, with OfficeSpace, it's important to recognize that we're primarily a remote company, and we have employees over really 3 to 4 countries. And so one of the things that we're going to be using extensively is tracking employees' hardware, so a laptop specifically. That has been a mix of, internal spreadsheets, that's been navigating internal and external remote monitoring tools, mixed with a little bit of guesswork, our human memory, right? So now we'll have that ability at a glance to assign a computer to a new employee, change the status of an asset with a very minimal number of clicks. And so as a result of that, we're going to be able to be much more tactical in terms of what we do with tracking an asset when a new employee joins an organization or joins the organization.
Yeah, great. So you've got this full physical asset lifecycle management and evidence to help you plan. And then you're also plugging some of that back in for the finance side, allowing them to track depreciation and their different costs. So
yeah, and that's a big one for us too, is that's something that has always been a little bit of a siloed black box, but now we can really work in tandem with finance to say, hey, this is how this asset was purchased. This is how we're going to depreciate it over time. This is when end of life is. This is when warranty expires. So with all that information available, and all of this is available right now on our platform, is to be able to say, this is how we need to plan for the future. That's going to be game changing for us for sure.
Love it. And we know that OfficeSpace Assets it's a new to the market product and has been designed with the end users taking part in it with our product team for initial launch. So when you think about the existing product capabilities, as well as the roadmap and all of the things that we want to add and evolve this product into over time, what excites you?
Yeah, I mean, it's easy to say, everything, and it sounds so cliche, but it really is true. This is a game changer for the market. This is going to disrupt the market in such a positive way. What's exciting is about how scalable it is. So because of the way that we're building it, or our product team is building it, it's going to be something that can scale from an organization that's 200 employees all the way up to employees, the companies that has 10,000 employees, because it's one easy step to be able to see exactly where those assets are. there's a few things that are already live. There's more that we're building. So in terms of getting assets in, it's super easy. Upload it a CSV. You can do it in literally a matter of minutes. That's something that is super cool to get all your assets in one place. You can pull from your existing systems. You can upload your existing spreadsheet if that's what you're using. We're working on right now how we're importing employee lists, so that's going to be even easier. We also know that that is going to be something that we need to put automation on, and that is something that is a huge priority for us. So how we can integrate with HRIS systems, how we can integrate with Active Directories will make that initial setup process even easier. Another thing that's coming down the pipe that is, we're talking weeks or months, is custom fields, which is going to be a massive unlock for us. It's going to let us track the data that matters to us. And every company is going to be a little bit different with that. So to have the ability to build a custom field into that is going to be something that's really exciting. And like I said, that's a matter of weeks and months, not years, which is really exciting. And then I think something that's just really important to kind of reflect on, and we've talked a lot with the product team on this, is our product team is laser focused on working on integrations that are going to power internal workflows. So whether this is with your ticketing, whether this is with an RMM tool, we want to build the integrations that are going to help make you more successful, but also more efficient. And I think that's something that is really important to just have in your mind, is that our product team, that is their number one focus, is how to make asset management easy, how to make asset management simple to use and intuitive. And I think that is where our OfficeSpace Assets is going to change the game, because of the way that we've built it. And again, kind of coming back to that product led, let's work with our clients to make sure that we're capturing and doing what we need to do.
So this ability to get immediate value and quick value out of setup, but also have a platform that's going to grow with you, scale with you, and constantly improve.
100%. Yeah.
So Eku, you also lead procurement and have a lot of experience in procuring new tools. And so if someone in a similar role came to you saying that they were looking for an asset management tool and they were possibly considering OfficeSpace Assets, what would you recommend they focus on?
Yeah, and this is a really interesting question, because this is actually the debate that we were having before OfficeSpace decided to build this. This was a pain point for us. Asset management was something that when I started in this role, Max and I realized very quickly, like, this was going to be a big challenge for us. And so we tried a whole bunch of different things. So I would say there's a couple things that really stand out. One is life cycle tracking, assignments, being able to track maintenance in one place. Like, that is absolutely essential. Honestly, it needs to be intuitive. And I say that as someone who manages our tech stack. If it's not easy to use, people don't have the time right now to go live in universities and learn a product. They need to work, right? And so that's something to find something that is going to be easy to use right away. And then the integration with core tools. So this has to be something that we know it needs to integrate with HRIS, space planning, IT systems, etc. And I think that's one of the things what's going to really separate clients who take that approach, is like, hey, how does this work with their existing system? One of the really positive pieces of feedback that we've gotten so far is that our clients who are on OfficeSpace, who are using our core product for workplace management, love this tool. And they're loving what they're seeing from it, because it's going to integrate seamlessly with their existing system, which they're so dependent on. And it's just accentuating and making it really, really straightforward to, again, manage workplace as a whole. So it's one of those things where asset management can stand alone, and OfficeSpace Assets, like, it can find a way to benefit clients who just need it for that. But it's also going to, for our OfficeSpace clients and people who are considering workplace management as a whole, like, it unlocks a whole different level that is really, really exciting.
And amazing how our product and client teams, stay close enough to be really responsive to the needs, because this was something that clients were kind of trying to use workplace management to, find ways to jimmy rig tracking their assets, but couldn't do quite everything. So OfficeSpace Assets, provides that ability and that ease of implementation. And as you said, just intuitive. And so the more we can continue to sort of listen and scale from there.
Yeah. And I just a quick anecdote on that. And I think it's something that, again, kind of speaks to why we built it, is that this was a request from our clients over and over and over again. And so they kept coming to us and saying, hey, this is a missing piece. This is the missing piece. And so I got to give huge credit to our product and engineering team to really understood what our clients are saying and saying, hey, let's build a prototype. Let's build a prototype quickly and then get it out to market. And this has been, an incredibly fast process, but built in such a positive direction. And that really, again, like I work with a lot of our vendors and I work with a lot of our tech staff. That's disrupted the market. I've never seen a product get launched as fast as we have with the quality that it has. I see products launched all the time that are, maybe inferior, but this was something that was really thought out. And again, comes from a place of, this is what our clients want. We have to build something that our clients are going to use, and we have to build something that our clients are going to benefit from. That is non-negotiable. And that was the starting point. And so, like I said, huge credit to our product and engineering team, because
Absolutely.
they showed up and created a product that I'm excited to use, which again is, considering
Says something too. Yeah.
That's a big deal.
That our phenomenal product and engineering teams wanted and sought out you and Max's input as stakeholders to, test our own new tooling.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, so Max, flipping it to you for a second, you're in IT, constantly handling requests, technology assignments, troubleshooting. How do you see OfficeSpace Assets making your life easier day to day?
Well, first of all, it eliminates the guesswork, right? We're not guessing anymore who has what and what hardware is assigned to who. That's the first thing that it makes our life a lot easier. Track the repairs. You can put the repairs into the asset directly, so that helps us track it down, and also prep for audits. You know that you have audits from finance and from infosec, so that'll help us a lot. Preparing for it.
Yeah.
Chasing people, asking who has the asset, what's your asset, the asset name for it. That eliminates almost to zero, right? And once the barcode is scanning and or the QR scanning module is implemented, inventory is going to be so easy, right?
Yeah. Sounds like you'll have, a lot of time for the many other components of your job.
Fortunately, yeah.
So, obviously the OfficeSpace Assets is a phenomenal tool, not intended to replace the work that the two of you are doing. As we just mentioned, Max, you've got plenty of other things to do. But how do you both see this platform just evolving that work and adding visibility or consistency or clarity to your processes?
Yeah, and I think it's going to be big. I think for us, it's the ability to track, remind, and log, and do that as autonomously and automatically as we can is really interesting. I think the ability to track an asset, through its entire life cycle, to get reminders as things come up, and we'll see that as we get into the platform a little bit. But to say, hey, our end of life for a computer, for example, is 4 to 5 years. I can set a reminder, 6 months before, so that when I start planning, AOP for that year, that we're going to be much more efficient in terms of how we plan. But what I love about this is that while all that data is collected and we can build it automatically, we still set the strategy. We can decide how we want to interact or intervene. And I think in today's world, that is crucial, to have that human interaction and that humankind guidance on it. So we're creating great data points, but we're still giving us the tools to strategize effectively. It's definitely going to free up time. I mean, as Max was talking about, the ability to focus on ops planning. I know for myself, this is something that I'm really excited about. Instead of having to go and source through 3, 4, 5 different spreadsheets, or trying to track down an external RMM or an internal program, to be able to see at a glance where an asset is, like, that is monumental. And then I think it's just coming back to the idea that keeping everything in one system. And so when we think about these kind of 3 key things, it's the ability to track, the ability to remind, the ability to log, and then have it all collected in one system is really, really exciting. And I can't wait for the time that I will have as a result of that, instead of spending time on things that, quite frankly, like, no one wants to do, but it needs to do because it's a reality of the situation.
Yeah. No, makes complete sense. Now, was there a feature or component of OfficeSpace Assets that you didn't expect to care about, but you're now like, oh, this is pretty exciting. I'm pretty jazzed about this.
Yeah, there was one, and I was saying to someone earlier, like, it was actually quite surprising to me that I didn't recognize the need for this. But uploading receipts. And so manuals, photos to the asset record directly. This was something that, especially from a procurement lens, was really important. But to be able to track purchase date, purchase cost at a glance, because that was something that, I live in two worlds from the procurement and IT side. And so I see it on the procurement side, but I don't always see it on the IT side. Finance definitely has had at times a bit of a disconnect. And so to now have everything in one place to say, this is our receipt, this is when this asset was purchased, this is the warranty expiration, this is when its end of life is going to happen, this is how much our cost was. Like costing for me is going to be really interesting because now we can track over time, what is our average purchase rate? Is it something that we are getting the most bang for our buck? Is it something that we're maximizing the way that we spend? We can work with our vendors more strategically. Maybe we need to order differently. We can now put pressure in different areas. So I didn't realize that it would be such a big deal, and I'm ecstatic about where it's going. It's going to make our vendor conversations. It's going to make audits much easier. But the thing I think that I really love this analogy, and someone mentioned it to me, and I think it's so clear, is it creates a complete digital folder for every asset. So with all the kind of limitations that we see with file hierarchies that we all know, this is all one place, but it still has all the positives of that, is that I know if I need to look at an asset, this is where I'm going to find all the information on that. And so to just have that kind of like digital folder, that digital envelope for exactly everything that goes into the one asset, it's game changing.
Absolutely. And not just for you all, but cross-functionally and for finance and InfoSec and all the other teams who need this information. So sounds like a big unexpected win.
Yeah.
Well, without further ado, let's get into the product a bit. Would love if you can to walk us through a few key areas of OfficeSpace Assets that you're already using.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm going to give the standard. Can you see my screen? We're good?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. So what you're seeing overall right now, and I'm just going to show you a couple different things here. This is the asset list overall. So what you can see at a glance is you can see the name of the asset, our asset ID number. You can see the category, so a laptop or a desktop. Right away, you can see if it's in active state, if it's in maintenance, what department, what location, and then who it's assigned to. So overall, you can see very easily, what your assets are. You can also see there's a variety of different filters you can apply here. So you can do it by site, by category, status, department. All those filters are live and work today. So that's something that is really straightforward and easy. So for example, if I wanted to go laptops, that's going to pull in just our laptops. So that filter command is really straightforward. The other thing that I would say is you can always add additional columns. So as we start to get into custom fields and that launches, we're going to be able to sort by that and see at a glance what that looks like. Now, I do want to call it out just because you can see the active assets. So we're in the process of going through and getting these assets activated. We're being very strategic with how we do that. So that's why I wanted to call it out. You might be looking at it and saying, hey, aren't there more active assets? It's actually something we're doing very intentionally. We want to go through every asset and make sure that it's done right, especially in the early stages, because we want to make sure that it's right for our clients. So that I just needed to call that out as a specific indication. But overall, you can see that there's a lot of really cool things that you can do with this overall asset list. I can search directly. So I'm just going to enter my name, and you can see, even though it's only listed as the assigned to, I can pull it up and really easily come up with the asset assigned to me.
So this is like your quick asset list at a glance, visibility. You could go through, hey, here's all of my, machines that need maintenance, and just sort of start your management from there. I know you're going to take us a little bit deeper.
Yeah, for sure. And so basically it's your starting point. It's your guidepost, but then what you're actually looking for is the real information on an asset. So I just clicked into the name. You can see right away, this is this is the digital folder, that digital envelope that we were talking about. So at a glance on your first screen, you're going to see the ability to name it, build it by site, have different categories, department. All these fields are customizable right now. Assigning out to our users is super straightforward. All I have to do is literally assignee. I'm just going to type my name, and it's that simple. And then I just hit save, and then it's that more straightforward. A category that's really important for us is it a laptop or a Mac? That's something we're very conscious of. And so we've added that as a subcategory here for PC in this case. And then is location. We talked a little bit about the financial information. So this is something that is, again, really, really interesting and really cool. The first part is how it depreciates. This is something that IT providers might need to talk to their accounting team to find out how they're depreciating assets. But the ability to do it in a couple different ways and gives a little bit of a tooltip in here about why you would do it a different way is valuable. But what I love is this section here. And this is the purchase cost, the purchase date, the warranty expiration date, and then the useful life. And so I mentioned that 4 to 5 year timeline. That's something that's exciting because, we have 5 years set up right now. I'm going to be able to actually build an alert, and I'm going to be able to pull and say, hey, for all my clients all my assets that are expiring in 5 years, let's alert them 6 months in advance. And so to be able to go through and actually be able to set that is going to be very, very valuable for us. And that will just create a notification to our email. So then I can track it and do with it what I need to. Maintenance, you can see this is, if there's any type of recurring work orders. So quick differentiation that I want to make here is that if the end user is still going to work with the ticketing system, right? That's something that we're very conscious. We're aware of. We know we need to integrate with the big ticketing systems. That's on the agenda. I would say that's coming and the roadmap that's coming very soon. But this is also if we need to, once that ticket has been submitted by the end user, this is now for us to manage from an IT perspective of how that computer actually needs a new battery, for example, or what is the work actually being provided. So being able to track and create work orders directly from the maintenance screen is really exciting. We have the ability to link assets. So I think of this more of an in-office environment when we have a desktop computer, for example, that might have an auxiliary monitor, it might have a webcam. We can track all those things as complementary assets with the computer being the primary asset, which I think is going to be really valuable. And then finally, the additional info. And the additional info is something that is, I think, really, really cool right now. But this is going to be kind of leading to where we're going in the future, which is all of these fields here are going to be custom fields. Like I said, this is something that is coming down the pipe very quickly. And so we have decided that these are the custom fields that we want. So serial number, manufacturer, processor, memory is very important for us to make sure that our computers are powerful. So to be able to actually put those into custom fields is going to be really valuable, and that's coming soon. And then this is the other piece that we've mentioned a little bit about being able to load the receipt directly into the asset into this folder is I think very important. Being able to see that at a glance. This is a record from our RMM tool, and so this is something that can pull in all that information as well. The other piece that we haven't done, but I think is going to be interesting, is that especially as assets come back into inventory, we can actually take pictures of their current status. We can date stamp them and then upload them as well. So we can say, hey, this computer came back with a coffee stain on it. And so as a result of that, we're going to be able to, clean it up. And then when it goes out, make sure that it's in a better condition. So overall, that's kind of the benefit from an individual asset. And then the third part that I just wanted to just kind of mention quickly is we know that reporting is going to be really important. We are in the process of building out a series of reports. There's a few that are out of the box right now, a depreciation report and an asset lifecycle report. We're continuing to work with our clients to understand what reports we need. And that is something that's a huge focus for us as well going forward. So that's kind of a brief guide to the OfficeSpace Assets platform. Yeah.
Fantastic. And I go back to the what you said before. I mean, it is from my experience poking around, and I know that I go into a lot of tools often without as much context as you or Max. It is super intuitive for me to understand and follow and get to what I want, which I love, because that makes it easier when you need anyone on a leadership team to jump in and support. Fantastic. Super helpful. Well, I guess just to wrap up, maybe if we stop the platform so I can see you both again.
Yeah.
So in one word, if you had to describe your experience with the OfficeSpace Assets platform, what would it be?
I would say empowering.
Love Love that.
Yeah, for me, it's streamlined.
Fewer tools and source of truth.
Absolutely.
Fantastic. Well, thank you both so much for sharing your time and insights. You have both played such a big role in helping shape this internally, working with our product and engineering teams. And it's just fantastic to see it in your hands now, and excited to put it to work and use it for our next planning cycle. So
Absolutely. Thanks for having us.
Thank you.